Hello! Ah, wow, that was terrible. My voice like cracked immediately. Hello and welcome back to Around the Boxes, episode number 27. I don't know where we're at. We're somewhere. My name is DA Comix. If you're new around here, this is my live stream series where I hang out around my boxes of comics. Where are they? There they are. Show you guys new pickups, new additions to the collections, and kind of give my thoughts on them. Both new books and back issues, everything in between. Huge episode today. If you couldn't tell by the title and the thumbnail. Got a lot of books. We got a stack here. You'll notice one on the bottom there. We got a graded book. Got some back issues. Got some new books. All good things. Went to a convention this past weekend over in Richmond, Virginia. There was a Comic-Con, which I was not really gonna go. I was the one who found out about it, and I told my friend in town who's kind of like getting into comics. I told him, I was like, hey, there's a Comic-Con, do you want to go? And he was like, heck yeah, I want to go. And this was a couple months ago. And then as we got closer, you know, I was like, money's a little tight right now. I don't know if I really want to go because I'm gonna want to buy stuff. But ultimately, he kind of convinced me to go, and I just brought some books of mine and just kind of like traded around, you know. So managed to get some cool pickups and get rid of some books that I didn't really care for anymore. So speaking of the collection, one big update. Sorry, I was like trying to hear if the music ended. One big update that I have. I reorganized my entire collection today. I spent like yesterday and today. I would show you guys, but it's kind of hard. Let me see if I can like pan over. And you can't really see, the light's gonna shift there. I made some new labels, which I can show you that. Let me just grab one of them here. We'll do this one. Made some new labels where I printed like the actual, I sat on Photoshop, got the titles, laid them out in the right format, printed them out, laminated them, and then taped them on. Here's one you guys all know. Let me just pull this out here. We got Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, and then Legacy 1 to 441. So before I just had labels with my label maker where I would type up, you know, Legacy blank to blank, yada yada. But when I was at the convention, one of the booths had like their labels all printed out with the titles of the comics. And I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to do that. But also I finally got another long box. I've had just a stack of comics for a while. You've probably seen it in my past videos back here. So I finally got another long box, and I got a basically a coffee table to use as a shelf. So now I can pull out the boxes on the bottom without destabilizing the entire thing. So I can actually access my entire collection now instead of just having them all stacked up. And then I reorganized them alphabetically, because before I had it kind of like, this is my Marvel box and this is my DC box, and it was kind of all over the place. The only way that I knew where anything was just because I knew. But I'm just thinking long term, as the collection gets bigger and bigger, it would just get more confusing to be like, where is that comic again? So I just did everything alphabetical for all the labeled books. The only exceptions being like Superior Spider-Man's in the Amazing Spider-Man section, right? Thor is in the Journey into Mystery section, things like that. And then for any books that I have that aren't big enough to justify their own section, I just have them in a miscellaneous tab. So it's like Marvel Comics, and it's just like A to Z within that tab. And then I have a DC Comics one, I have an Indie Comics one. But the collection is now up to 8 long boxes and 1 short box. Short box is pretty much full, so at some point probably in the next couple months I'll have to get another long box, and then I'll be up to 9 long boxes. So pretty big. But the exciting news about having done this and finally reorganized it, I still have a couple more things I need to do. I need to go through on my app and fully catalog every comic, make sure it's in there, make sure the grade is in there, at least a rough estimate of the grade, and the current market value. I like to update those about every 6 months just to make sure that it's up to date, so I know kind of what my books are worth and things like that. I can watch for any large gains or anything like that. But once I get all that done, I'm gonna do a comic collection series. It's been years since I've done a comic collection video, and those videos aren't public anymore. So currently on my channel, there is no comic collection videos. If you wanted to see my collection, you'd have to go back through Around the Boxes and look at my new pickups, and those are only the books from the last few months. So I'm gonna do a full comic collection series at some point. I'm not gonna give a timeline or anything like that. I don't know when or how, but planning to do that soon. I want to do that maybe once a year, you know, like updated Comic Collection 2022, 2023, something like that. So my goal is to have that full series up before the end of the year. So that'll be like the 2022 comic collection. So definitely looking forward to that. But let's dive into the pickups today, because man, oh man, do I have some good ones. Let me take a sip of water. My throat's dry. So my voice isn't cracking again. But yeah, let's dive into the books. We got some new books first, some good stuff, and then we'll dive into some back issues, and then I'll show you guys what I picked up at the convention. So first book I picked up today, we got Captain America. Where can I get the light best? Captain America: Symbol of Truth, number 4, Legacy number 739. This is the Sam Wilson Captain America series, and this pretty much lived up to what the other issues have been so far, which is pretty good. I'm enjoying it. I really like. Sorry, I'm not centered. I really like the art style. I think it's comic booky, but also realistic. Artist is R.B. Silva and Zay Carlos. And I don't know, I'm just really liking it. I think, obviously, Sam Wilson is a great character, and that's why he's Captain America, but it's no secret that this book is trying to, progress representation in comic books. And you see it, man. I mean, you see Sam Wilson as Captain America, you see, oh man, what's his name? The Falcon. What is his name? I don't remember his name. I'm bad. But the Falcon is Latino. And so seeing that, and he has his own storyline kind of happening on the side while Sam is visiting Wakanda and dealing with Crossbones. It's really good. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I like that it has the legacy numbers. So this is like the main Captain America book in terms of like legacy wise. And yeah, I just think it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I like how Wakanda's involved in the story, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. So all in all, I would say really if you haven't been a fan of Sam Wilson Cap, I know a lot of people haven't, some for good reasons, some for not good reasons. But if you just haven't really been a fan because you just haven't really gotten it, I would definitely recommend picking up this series. I think it's definitely worth a try to give it a shot and see if it does anything for you, because I really enjoy it. I think it's really good. So that's my recommendation on that one. I'm just going to slide this over here. Alright. Next up, we got The Amazing Spider-Man number 8, Legacy 902. Obviously, we all knew it from the cover. This is the introduction of the... I don't know what to actually call it, but the Spider-Goblin armor, or suit. It's the Oscorp suit, I guess would be the name. It's kind of taking Green Goblin tech and armoring Spider-Man with it. The second part of this kind of two-part Vulture story that started last issue, and last issue ended with him getting dropped from the sky, and I said that was a pretty cool cliffhanger. This issue starts with him saving himself, so definitely good. I enjoyed this issue more than I've enjoyed some issues of this run so far, but it's still lacking. Now, one thing I think we can definitely talk about is Norman Osborn. Because obviously he had his sins taken from him by Sin Eater back during Nick Spencer's run, so he's good now. And Peter has obviously been skeptical, and us as readers have obviously been skeptical. But this issue basically is him donning the suit in order to save his own life from the Vulture and beat him. And then it ends with him accepting the job from Norman Osborn and saying basically, I believe you, I think that you are really trying to do good. But I think this one page, where is it? Here, where Peter calls Norman and he crushes the phone and like slams it into the ground. Obviously, we're supposed to think later when he says like, I wanted to go save you myself, but I don't dare get on the glider. I don't know. This is kind of sus. I think there's a path to Norman becoming Green Goblin again. Maybe it'll be kind of a slow burn type of thing. But all in all, this issue didn't do anything for me in the sense of making me like the run any more than I already didn't. I'm not a fan of the glider. It just doesn't make any sense. Spider-Man web swings. That's kind of his trademark thing. So flying around on a glider, hopefully that doesn't stick around for a while. Hopefully that's just a gimmicky thing that will go away with time. But in the meantime, it is what it is. It was okay. It was alright. Next issue, we have an X-Men crossover, and then we're going to have Judgment Day crossovers and all this other crap. So we're not really going to get the actual run for a little while here. So I'm just disappointed, but it is what it is. But one thing that I'm not disappointed with, we got Detective Comix, 1063. I loved this book. I started picking up the series with last issue, new creative run by Ram V. Love the covers. Love what they're doing with it. It's not really showing up great. My lighting is not great in here, but the kind of purple pink, very, very cool. And yeah, this book was phenomenal. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. A nice, gritty Batman story, setting up these new villains. The, what are they called? Where is it? There it is. The, hello? The Orgum family, aka the Arkham family. And also setting up basically the return of Two-Face is going to be really cool. So, very much enjoyed this book. Very happy to be picking it up. Very much looking forward to pick up future issues. I hope this run lasts for a while. I was looking when I was reorganizing my comic collection because there was a period of time where I started picking up Detective again. And it's been a little while since I have been picking up Detective Comics. It's been a little while since I've really been picking up DC Comics. This is a very recent thing, like last episode of Around the Boxes, where I started getting into DC again. So Detective Comics is definitely going to be a mainstay for me for a little while. And highly recommend it. If you like Batman and you're thinking about getting into comics, I put one of my friends on this series. He was starting to get into comics. He likes Batman. I was like, you got to pick up this new Detective run. Also the new Batman run, but both of those series are really knocking it out of the park. So I think they're doing a good job there. Is Tech coming out bi-weekly? I don't think so. I think Detective Comics is monthly. I wish it was bi-weekly, but I'm pretty sure it's monthly right now. Although, when did the last issue come out? No, it must be monthly. It must be monthly because it's been a few weeks, and I'm pretty sure there's not another one till next month. So, yeah. But that's all my new books. Only 3 books this week. I was supposed to pick up Carnage number 5, but I did not see that on the shelf. So either my store sold out or it didn't actually come out. I'm not sure. So I'll have to look into that. But I'll be able to find that online or go to another store or something. So it won't be a big problem. But now I have some back issues. Just a few cheap back issues I picked up. Really, really cool books that I saw just in the box at my comic store. This first one is a series that I really want to start collecting more of. I only have a few, and that is Spider-Man. Just Spider-Man. So not Amazing Spider-Man, not Spectacular, but the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man series. This is Spider-Man 18, Revenge of the Sinister Six, Part 1. And I really bought this because it was just reminding me of the old, when I first got into comic books. Because when I first got into comic books, I didn't know every issue. You know, now I could see an Amazing Spider-Man issue and I recognize it. Whereas back in the day, I would just go to the store, dig through the box, and find a book that looked cool to me. I do not know this series. So when I just flipped through the box, this opened up and I saw Sinister Six, I saw Ghost Rider, and I was just like, that's cool. I want it. And that's kind of what comic collecting used to be like for me. So I'm kind of channeling back into that energy a little bit of just like, that's a really cool comic and I want to have it. And I would like to get the whole Revenge of the Sinister Six storyline. I'd like to get the whole run of this Spider-Man series. It's not a long series, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's just a really cool book. Got it for like $4, I think. So definitely happy with that. And then I got a few more books from Spider-Man. This one is issue number 38. It is Light the Night, part 1 of 3. In case you can't guess, I got all 3 parts. So I got 38, 39, which is part 2, and then 40, which is part 3. So awesome Electro storyline. I saw Electro on the cover and I was sold. I love Electro. He's one of my favorite villains. He got his first appearance. I don't know if it shows up. It's right up there. So definitely a big Electro fan. Awesome books to have. They're all in great condition. I'd say easily 9.6, 9.4 maybe. So just filling out that McFarlane Spider-Man run. with some cool back issues, and I'm gonna definitely dive into that a little bit more. My comic store actually had a good amount of these, so I'm definitely gonna probably be buying those whenever I want to get some back issues. So, filling that out, would like to collect that whole thing, especially those early actual McFarlane ones, because these, this is not McFarlane's art, at least not on the cover. I don't know if it is inside. I'm pretty sure he only started the series, but didn't actually carry it through. Next couple back issues. I say back issues. They're modern back issues, but some books that I saw on the shelf at the store, and I really just wanted to own them. This is Batman 3 Jokers, Book 2 and Book 3. These are cover A. I specifically wanted cover A because I'm a collector. I like having cover A. They did not have Book 1. Not really a surprise there. So I will have to find that elsewhere because I would really like to just own the whole series. I have the trade paperback. I have the hardcover 3 Jokers, so I've read it before. But I wanted to have the individual comics just for my collection, especially as I've really been liking these, like, I think they're called, what did they call them? Like Prestige Edition or whatever. These kind of premium comics that DC's been putting out. Superman Space Age, Batman One Bad Day, 3 Jokers. And also 3 Jokers is just a really, really cool storyline. It seems like a really big moment in Batman's recent history and probably his history overall. So just as a collector and a fan of Batman, I wanted to have these books. So got Book 2 right there, which features the criminal Joker, I think. And Book 3, which is the not the clown. Comedian? I think it's the comedian. Joker. So, super cool books. Love these covers. Definitely going to look for Book 1. Probably online. I don't think they're too expensive. I don't think they've gone up in value too much yet, so I should be able to find it relatively close to cover price. I got these for cover price, so should hopefully be able to find Book 1 for cover price and fill out that little run there. But yeah, let's dive into this convention, man. So convention overall was definitely a good time. Not the biggest convention. It was at the Richmond Raceway, just kind of like in a warehouse next to it. So it was like maybe 4 aisles of booths. So it took us maybe a couple hours to walk the whole floor and check out all the vendors. But yeah, we really only got comics. They didn't have a whole lot else. They had like some art and merchandise and stuff, but nothing too crazy. And really, I was only there for comics. Like I said, I was kind of trading around, like trading in some stuff that I had and selling and things like that in order to get these books. But surprisingly, what really surprised me when I started diving into the boxes, obviously I went straight to the Amazing Spider-Man section. Always ridiculously overpriced. I shouldn't say overpriced, just very expensive. Spider-Man comics, Marvel comics, have gotten really expensive since the rise of the MCU, and especially Spider-Man comics. I mean, used to be you could browse through the Silver Age box and it would be like $12, $15, $20. Now it's like $100 for any Silver Age Spider-Man book. So didn't really find anything too crazy Spider-Man wise that I could pick up. But the buddy that I was with is really into DC, so he was looking specifically at DC Comics, so I started diving into the DC boxes, and I mentioned it last week. I've really been wanting to get into DC Comics more, especially DC back issues, because that's an area of comic books that I've just never really touched. I've picked up new DC books pretty much ever since New 52, but other than a couple Batman comics that I had 0 DC back issues, and I recently picked up a Wonder Woman comic. And at this convention, I just decided to start picking up some DC Silver Age books. And I got some really cool ones. I only got a few books, but they're all really cool. This first one is a Batman book. It is Batman number 160. And now I specifically got this, and I think I mentioned this last week. I really love the goofy, silly Silver Age DC books. That to me is just like, it's something that I think DC did really well. That Marvel sometimes does, but like when I'm getting a Marvel Silver Age book, I'm not getting it because I think it's like goofy or silly. I'm getting it because I think it's cool. Whereas this is just so funny. I mean, the alien boss of Gotham City. When you think of Batman today, this is hilarious because Batman today is so serious and he's the Dark Knight, and you read his comics and they're very like poetic and this is just such a different vibe, and I really like that. And from a collecting standpoint, I really want to get more of the Silver Age DC books that are like this because I just think it's so fun. But definitely low grade, some fading here. It's kind of the art's faded a little bit, but just real fun, goofy art, and classic Batman story. I'm gonna get more. I love them. The next book, I got one from each series that I decided I wanted to start collecting. If I'm diving into DC Silver Age, for me, it's all about Batman, Detective Comics, Wonder Woman, Action Comics, Justice League, even some like Green Lantern and Aquaman. I've seen some books that look really cool. But mainly I was feeling specifically Batman and Superman. As I've mentioned, Superman Space Age, the book I picked up recently, really set me off on this whole DC kick, so I've really been feeling Superman. But I gotta get some Batman. So I got that Batman book, and then this is Detective Comics. This is Detective Comics number 291. This is a 10-cent, where is it? Over here. 10-cent cover price. I think it's still technically Silver Age, and it's not even in the 50s. This is from 1961. But it's the creature from the Batcave, and it's like this furry green alien coming out of a space canister. I absolutely love that. I love that. It's super colorful, super silly, super goofy. You wouldn't really think of Batman fighting aliens, but that's what the two books I picked up were, and love this book. I picked it up, I saw 10 cents, and I knew it had to be at least early 60s or 50s, but it is 1961, which would make this my new oldest comic book, because I think my oldest comic book right now would be 1962 or 63. So this would be my new oldest comic book, except I picked up another book that's even older than this one, and that is the next book here, which is super cool book. This is from I'm gonna hold it up here. This is from 1959. It is Action Comics number 254, which is the first appearance of Bizarro. It's the first adult Bizarro. I guess he had appeared previously as like a child or something. I don't really know the whole history, but the label at the con was saying like first adult Bizarro. When I look on Comics Price Guide, it just straight up says first appearance of Bizarro. So I don't know who to trust, but 10-cent cover price, 1959. Awesome cover. You got Bizarro holding up the big hunk of kryptonite, shooting Superman. And one thing that I really love about Action Comics, and as I start picking up more Superman comics, is just how goofy they are. On the front, it's kryptonite rays kill you, but not harm Bizarro. Nothing can hurt Bizarro. I am a real Superman. And then he's just like, he's right. No power on Earth can conquer that super creature. I saw a bunch of awesome Action Comics at the convention. I really wanted to get a lot of them, but ultimately I honed in on this one. Got it for like $100, I think, was the price on it. And it is just an awesome book. My first Action Comics back issue, the first of many, hopefully. I have a tab in my new boxes for Action Comics Volume 1, and it's literally just this comic book. There's nothing else in there. But, yeah, it's an awesome book. It's also the fourth appearance of Supergirl, I believe is what I heard. So not exactly a key issue, but it's cool to have, an early appearance of Supergirl, who's a huge character in her own right, as a TV show. But yeah, super awesome book. Definitely going to pick up more. So if you're a fan of DC Comics, you can rejoice. I'm on board with it. I'm finally here. This is my DC Silver Age collection so far is, I think, 6 books between 3 I already had and the 3 I just picked up. But definitely gonna start getting more, because there's something cool about owning such an old comic book from literally the first superhero. I mean, Superman was the one that started it all. Action Comics was the comic that started it all, and I have issue 254 of that series. That's cool to me. I don't know. I like that. I think that's really fun. So I'm on board with it. I like it. Sick book, sick pickup. Very happy. But the last book in this episode, the last book that I picked up at the convention, easily pick of the week, I got all those books, those 3 DC Silver Age back issues. You knew I couldn't leave that convention without getting at least one Marvel comic. And you knew I couldn't leave that convention without getting at least one Spider-Man comic. Now, this specific comic book is a beauty, a gem. You probably saw it teased in the thumbnail. Now, I want to tell you a story about how I found this comic book, though. We're walking the convention floor. You know, I got a little bit of money left. I sold some books, had a little bit of money left to buy some comics. I say a little bit, a decent amount. And we're walking by this booth, and I see this comic over on a shelf. It was a bunch of CGC graded books. And I knew this cover immediately. You know, everyone knows it. And I saw the price. There was a Post-it note on it with a number written on it. No $, just a number. And I turned to my friend and I said, am I blind or does that say what I think it says? And he confirmed that I was reading it correctly. And I turned to him and I said, that is a ridiculously low price for that comic book. Just my intuition, I had a feeling. I know that book. I know Spider-Man books. I know roughly what they're worth. And based on what I had seen, it was a ridiculous price. And he goes, well, you should go buy it. And I said, I want to. But that if I buy that book, you know, it's a low price, but it's still a decent chunk of money. If I buy that book, that would be the last book I'd be able to buy. Let's walk the rest of the floor. And then if at the end I still want to go get it, we'll come back and we'll get it. And while we were walking, I pulled up, you know, Comix Price Guide, eBay, looked up the book in CGC, graded exactly what it was graded, and saw what it was selling for, saw what it was valued at, and it was a lot more than what they were selling it for. And so we walked the floor, didn't really find anything else that I wanted more than this. So we go back to the booth, and I ask them, like, hey, can I see that book over there? Because I wanted to make sure it wasn't like a reprint or something. I just didn't understand why it was priced so low. So they go, yeah, we'll go. They go grab it, and they hand it to me. And I hear one of the people behind the booth say to one of the other workers, I don't remember his name, let's just say it was something like Frank. He was like, well, Frank, there it goes. And mind you, this was 20 minutes before the con ended. So we were theorizing the whole ride back. We were like, man, did someone like price it? And then someone else was like, hey, that's a super low price. And they were like, hopefully no one will buy it. And then I came in at the last second and bought it. I don't know what the story is. But the book that I picked up is Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 40, CGC 5.5. Now, I already had this book. We actually just talked about it on Webheads recently. Where is it? Over here. Nope. There we go. So I already had one copy of 40, but this is a very low-grade copy. I don't know if it'll show up here, but it's very beaten up. Cover is hanging on by a thread. There's tape all over it. Colors are faded. Definitely like a 1.0. A very, very low grade. Super sentimental. This was my second Silver Age Spider-Man book ever. And I'm never going to get rid of this copy specifically. This copy is still so special to me. It was a gift to me from my brother. And love it. But, you know, of course I'll take an upgrade. I'd love to have a higher grade copy. And this copy is absolutely pristine. Honestly, might even be a little undergraded on the label. If I'm looking at this, I don't see much of a difference between this and my 6.5 up there. Could maybe be a 6.0 since the colors are a little more off-white pages instead of off-white to white. But regardless, I am not complaining because this book... obviously, the origin of the Green Goblin, huge issue for Spider-Man fans and collectors all around. This is, you know, the climax of the Green Goblin saga, the beginning of the Spider-Man series. We just talked about this issue on the last episode of Webheads. Huge book. CGC at a 5.5. That is a very solid grade. Definitely, you know, a solid copy that I won't need to upgrade anytime soon. Maybe one day if I see a copy for like 8.0, I'll get that upgrade, but this will definitely do me good. But here's the craziest part. Now, this book, in this condition, graded at a 5.5 by CGC, is worth anywhere from, you know, I've seen, I think according to Comic Price Guide, it was $375. I've seen it on eBay for $500, $550. I've seen it sell for $500. The price that I paid, and I still have the Post-it note because I kind of wanted to keep it. The price that I paid, $200. Actually, $195 because we got a discount. $200 for Amazing Spider-Man 40, CGC 5.5, a book that is immediately worth almost double that, or easily double that. I could go and sell this. We were saying on the car ride home, I was like, I could go home, list this on eBay, and make 100% profit off of this book. That's how low of a price it was. Now, I don't know what possessed them to price this book at $200. I have no idea. But all I know is for sure I have not seen this book for $200 anywhere. I scoured. I looked all over eBay. I looked on comic websites. I looked at everything. I could not find this book at a 5.5 for $200 anywhere. So definitely got it for a great price. Really happy with that. That is just an awesome pickup. You can see this space up here is empty. That's because this has taken that space. Beautiful book. The only thing I need now is issue 39 because I do not actually have a copy of issue 39. I'd love to get a CGC'd copy of 39, get those side by side. That'd be super cool. But amazing pickup. Amazing pickup. Super happy to have this. I'm going to go immediately after this stream. I'm going to go and post on Instagram and TikTok. Or I think I already posted on TikTok. Actually, if you follow me on TikTok, you would have got a preview of this pickup. But I'm going to go and post this bad boy on Instagram immediately after I go offline because this is just beautiful. Beautiful book. Beautiful price. Very happy to pick that up. Awesome stuff. So that's about it for this episode Around the Boxes. Like I said, I'm going to be diving into a comic collection series hopefully sometime soon. Just got to figure out the logistics of how I'm going to film that, how I'm going to structure it, everything like that. But that's going to do it for me here. Hit that like button if you enjoyed. Comment your thoughts down below. Any of these books, any of these pickups. I would love to know this is a book. If anyone asks me, what is a book that you paid an incredible price for, this is easily one of them for me. The other one I can think of would be my Amazing Spider-Man 2 I got for $300. What is a book that you have found for an insane price that you picked up? I would love to see what you guys are saying down in the comments. You know, what's something you found at a convention or at a comic store that was insanely underpriced that you were super happy to pick up? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear that. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I do these live streams once a week, every other week, when I have enough books to talk about. Showing my new additions to the collection. Going to be diving into some DC books in the coming months, so definitely some stuff there. But also, just not forgetting Marvel. I want to look back into picking up some Journey into Mystery Thor books, some Hulk books, some more Spider-Man books. So all sorts of stuff coming in the near months. Also, if you haven't seen it, go and check out Webheads Comic Club. It's my podcast with JP Creations. We're reading through every single issue of Amazing Spider-Man. Our last episode, we talked about this book right here. So go and check that out. It's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and right here on YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces. So I'm going to stop rambling. I'll see you guys in the next one.